Hi, welcome back to Crafts by KMW. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you'll enjoy and find some use out of this video. So today I have a tutorial for you on how I do a brick wall background. I colored a few pages recently and I did them both with a brick wall background and they looked really great. I was really happy with the results. So I decided to share that because I think a brick wall is a really versatile, easy background that you can do on a lot of your portrait pages and on a lot of pages that have, just one focal point, something that would be indoors or even hanging. And it's really easy to do. So first I'm going to share with you the two pages that I did to show you what the brick wall looks like, and then I'm going to show you how to do it. So this is the first page that I have to show you. So this is from Anastasia Ellie Caldereva's beautiful book, Nocturnes. And so this one I did a more reddish brown toned brick wall. And I really like how it provides a nice but subtle background to her and to the stained glass window, which are the focal points. And then I have this one in the same book. And this one I did differently. So this one I wanted it to look more goth, a little bit older, a little bit dirty. So this one I did in blacks and grays. And again, I think it really complements her and the composition really, really well. So let me show you how to do this. So materials are a brick wall stencil. So this one, I don't know if you can see it really well. This one I got from Amazon. It was about $7 or $8. It's plastic. It's pretty good quality. And it has an overall pattern. So the pattern's pretty big, so you don't have to keep replacing the stencil a lot. And I like how it's offset. And I really wanted a brick with a rounded edge. A lot of the stencils have straight edges and corners, so I wanted something a little more rounded. So you could get whatever stencil you like. And I just think using a stencil is a lot easier and the process goes a lot faster. Then I have applicator for my inks. This one I got at Michael's. It came in a 4-pack and I think it was about $11 or $12, but it is really great. It's a non-changeable head, but it's really soft and fine, washes really well, and is pretty sturdy. So I really like these. I think it is really important to have good applicators when you're working with stencils and with inks. So next I have various colors of ink, and these are Colorbox Cat's Eye inks. I don't know if they sell these anymore. I've been trying to find more and it's been really difficult. But I'm going to use brown, gray, and red. And then I also have some gray color pencils. I'm using Prismacolors. So for this, I chose the cool grays. So I have cool gray 10%, cool gray 70%, and cool gray 30%. You could use whatever grays you want. You could even use black or white, depending on what you want your grout to be. So I am going to do mine on just a scrap of paper that I have. This is actually good quality paper. This is mixed media paper that I got at Michael's. I think it's about 140 GSM, so it's pretty high quality. So I wanted you to see this on good quality paper. If you're going to do this on a coloring book that has lower quality paper, like a book that was printed on Amazon paper, you might want to cover the page in gesso first, in clear gesso, just to get a nice, even, and a little bit of a stronger surface, and a surface that is better for your media like ink and colored pencil, but it's not a given. I would just do a test on whatever your paper you're going to be using first, just to make sure that your materials don't bleed through, that the paper takes them well, and that you can spread them and blend them the way that you would like to. So for this, I'm actually going to tape down my stencil. I would not recommend doing that on your coloring pages or in your coloring books. What I will do sometimes is I will tape the stencil to my table or to a piece of paper. That helps to keep it a little bit steady, but for the most part, I just hold the stencil as I'm working in my coloring books. So the first color I'm going to use is gray, and this is going to provide a base and the main color for the brick. I use gray regardless of what other colors I'm going to be using or what colors I want the bricks to be. I just think it's a nice foundation, and pretty much any color goes on top of it. So I just use gray. So I start wherever. You want it to be very random. I'm not going to do the whole length of the stencil. I'm just going to do a small area here. Okay, so now I have the base down for my brick. Actually, I'm going to bring this down a little bit more so you can see better. Okay. Now I'm going to apply the brown. And I do not wash my applicator or wait for the stencil to dry or the ink to dry. I think it just adds to the realism and the coolness of the brick. You definitely can do that if you would like. So again, I'm just gonna come in just randomly. Okay, maybe this brown is dry. I might have to go to another brown. Let me try it again. Yes, I think that brown is dead. So I'm gonna get rid of that brown. Okay. Let's try, I have a couple different shades that I can try. So let's do this one, see if this one works. Yep. Ooh, this one's very wet. All right. This one got a little heavier here than I would normally like it, but I can fix that. So now I have that done. And I'm just going to add a little bit of a bronzy color as well. Very subtle, very light. You can use as many or as few colors as you want. Usually I use just 3. Now I want a redder brick, so I'm going to apply my red on top. So when you're doing this, you just want to apply last whatever color you want to really show up on top. All right, I think this might be another dry one. Yep, all right, so let's try the next one. There we go, all right. This one's actually a little bit of a mulberry color. Okay, again, just really random. Now you can let this dry before you remove the stencil. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. So here we have our brick. Now I just want to mention that I just laid the stencil in the middle of the page, but if I were doing this on my coloring page or in a coloring book, I would make sure that on the edge I had brick. I would not have it like this. So you just want to make sure that you lay it the way you want it, so you'll get the brick where you want it. I'm just going to tape this down so it doesn't move so much. So now I'm going to get my grays and I'm going to do the grout in between. So I'm going to start with the lightest gray. And I basically do an all over color. Now, of course, you would wait for this to be dry, usually. However, I think that if you do it while it's wet, you might pick up a little bit of the pigment and drag it down, which I did up here, which I think looks kind of cool, makes it look more authentic. So I'm not going to do all of this. I'm going to do a few rows just so you can get the idea. Now, if you want it a little bit darker, you can go back and add another layer. I'm just going to do real roughly just to make it show up a little bit more. Now I'm going to come in with my middle gray, which is my 30% cool gray, and I'm just going to color random areas, applying the darker gray. You can go circular. I do a little bit of a circular motion. But you just want to add some areas of that darker gray. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the darkest gray, which is my 70%. And again, it's just random. Can make some areas a little bit larger, some a little bit smaller. Go around the corners. And then you can either leave it like that. So as you can see, it looks pretty rough. And that's how a lot of grout in brick looks. Or you can smooth it out with a blender pencil. So I'm using the Prismacolor. I sharpened it on the other end. The Prismacolor colorless blender. And then you can just take that and blend it out. So it's a little bit smoother and your 3 colors of gray are blended. And you don't have to use gray. You could use, if you wanted the grout a little bit darker, you could use black. Many brick wall grouts are brown or even white. In that case, you might just use like 10 and 20% gray. So you can make it smooth like that. And that is basically your brick wall. Now we're going to add some shadowing because the brick wall, the bricks are not flat. So I just come along and I'm using the 70%. You could grab a darker one if you wanted to. And I just color. I usually do shadows on the right, but if you want to do them on the left, it doesn't matter. So I just color most of the way up the right side and then about halfway coming down the bottom. And you can see how that adds shadow and some definition to your bricks. So now they're starting to stand out. Now, if you wanted to, you can add some darker patches on your bricks. So you could add like little dirt areas. Again, just very random. You could add some cracks. So I think I'm going to add some cracks with a black pencil. So you could add some cracks like that. You can even make it a multifaceted crack. You could color a little part as if the brick fell out. So you could make your brick wall look as clean or as grungy and dirty as you want. Again, you can use any colors that you want. I did a reddish brown brick wall here, but you could do gray and black, you could do white, you could do whatever color you would like. And that's why I love this. It's very versatile. It works for any page where there might be a brick wall in the background. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I would love to see how you used it, your colors, and your ideas in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a like, and I would love for you to subscribe so you can see more of my content. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.